Hi, I'm dolikisse and welcome to the Bad Cats Club, where it is all about Final Fantasy. And right now, all fans of the series are drawing a collective sigh of annoyance. If you don't know what's so special about today, here's a clue. Today is the release day of the newest game in the franchise, 13.3 Lightning Returns. Why, Squid? Why? I loved you. Why am I upset? Well, cause Square fucked us, that's why. They pounded us right in the ass and expected us to say thank you. They took the greatest series of all time, put it in a headlock, and they twisted until the head popped off. Everything came spilling out, and the only thing we are left with is an empty shell of fan service and despair. Think I'm exaggerating? Think I'm being too harsh? Let me tell you my story.
Listen to my story.
God, you're annoying. My story begins a long time ago. February 2001. It was at the end of a great war between consoles. The Xbox and the PlayStation were both scrambling for dominion over the land of gamers. I guess Nintendo had something in there too, but that's for kids, so nobody cared. And while browsing the shelves of my local game store, something caught my eye. It was a plain white cover with very little else on it, and I picked it up and decided to give it a try. The opening, it just blew me away. It was amazing. And it seemed so different. You know, in most of these games, you start off as a mighty warrior out to save a princess from something or other. But here, I'm just this weird-looking kid overwhelmed by a great city. And there was no wall of text telling me the backstory. They just sort of tossed me in there and expected me to figure it out on my own. I mean, every character has their own agenda, their own motivations. And it's not cliché like in most RPGs, you're out to save the world because you're so goddamn noble. But in Final Fantasy IX, it's not like that. I mean, they do save the world, but it doesn't start out like that. It's like Vivi just wants to find out who he is and where he comes from, or Garnet, who just wants her mom to stop busting everybody's balls, or Quenya, who just wants to do the tourist thing and try out world cuisine. The battle system was smooth, and I'm telling you, Freya's spear attack, it was the coolest thing I had ever seen. And I used it almost exclusively just so I could see the animation. And her backstory, oh, it's so sad. We're looking for a lost love. What's that?
Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Sorry. I guess I got a little carried away there, but she's just so cool with her Dragon Knight thing and her overcoat and her goddamn bat wings on her hat!
Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Okay, moving on. The music's some of the best I ever heard. And the settings are classic RPG, and it has this beautiful stylized look, with some elements of steampunk, but it never loses that fairy tale feel. You start out trying to kidnap your local princess. Turns out she wants to be kidnapped so that she can tell her Uncle Sid about how weird her mom's been acting. But your ship crashes into a cursed forest, and your buddies turn to stone, so that's a problem. But you eventually get to Sid's, pick up a few new friends along the way, but as you run around the city, you find out that the Queen has attacked a neighboring country. So while you try to get a defense ready against the invasion, Princess Garnet goes home to tell her mom and the new court advisor Kuja that that's not very neighborly. They don't exactly listen, and instead holds Garnet prisoner and steals her magic eidolons. which are these massively powerful spirits you can summon to fight with you. So now it becomes a rescue mission. And after that, you chase Kuya around, trying to stop him from taking over the world. It isn't very successful, and you eventually chase after him into a parallel world that he destroys. And since he's sort of on a roll, he decides to destroy your world as well, which leads to the final confrontation at a giant magical tree, where you beat Kuya and end up fighting death itself. Princess Garnet is made queen, and everybody lives happily ever after. At least in the bonus ending. A central part to any story is, to me, the antagonist. And Kuya is a great bad guy. The look and air of superiority just makes you hate him. And he checks all the boxes of a supervillain, with taking over the world, crushing those who stand before him, and all that. But turns out, there's a twist. And I thought it was the most mind-blowing twist ever. Turns out it's the same twist as in every other Final Fantasy game, but I didn't know that. And the mini-card game is so much fun, and figuring out how the cards work is a real challenge. The thing is, you get cards from people, but the way you generally get them is by defeating monsters. And I remember being in the ice cave, and the monsters you meet actually speak, and it's not what you'd expect, no. What they say is, the winds lay out my path, get out of my way. And that really kind of threw me for a loop. I mean, where are they going? Because it kind of sounds like they're out on a quest of their own, and I'm their random battle. Because, you know, at this point of the game, all I'm doing is escorting a runaway to her uncle's house and looking for a potion for my buddy. Pretty petty stuff in comparison. And you fight them and they drop this card with their picture on it. So basically, I'm just some guy coming into their home and mugging people for their driver's license. And there's just so much to love about this game. Like smacking your own characters upside the head to cure sleep. And the first time I saw the Eidolons, I mean, all that power right at your fingertips. It was so amazing. And wait. I am hardly the only one who thinks like this. See for yourself.
Ultimately, this is a fantastic game and remains one of my favorites in the series. If you haven't played it, you're truly doing yourself a disservice. Rectify that immediately.
It's engaging, it's addictive, and you won't regret playing this game if you're an RPG fan.
This was one of the last old school RPGs. Before voice acting and fancy rendering, it stood its ground because of quality, not technological performance. And it still stands its ground as one of the best RPGs of all time.
Yeah, greatest RPG of all time. So, I finish up 9, and I'm afflicted by massive Final Fantasy fever. But it's almost a full year before the next one comes out, so I do the next best thing and start working my way back in the series. So I throw myself into Final Fantasy VIII.